Hello, thank you for joining me on Dishing with me, Heather D. Tonight is going to be almond milk. I'm going to show you how I make it from scratch. And this is something because a lot of people seem to have milk or any type of dairy allergy. And this might be something that you want to consider trying to make at home. Now, you can buy it in the store, but they can be pretty pricey. So if you can find some raw almonds, then you're in business because that's pretty much all you need. So come on and join me as I get this put together. Okay, for our almond milk recipe, we're going to need some raw almonds. And this is the kind that I purchased. It was from our local grocery store. I can't remember which one because I had these in the freezer. Keeping your nuts, especially fresh nuts, in your freezer keeps the oils and keeps them from going rancid. I can't even remember where I purchased these from, but they were on sale at our grocery store. And so what I have here is what you would do with your beans. I have these sitting in water. These sat in water overnight, and this is what helps them plump up. Now, I'm going to open the bag here, if I can. And if you see, this is how the nut looks when it has not been soaking. And after it's soaked overnight in the water, you see the difference? You want your nuts to have absorbed the water to come from kind of like this dry state. And this is what we're looking for. So you can either let them sit overnight in water for about overnight, or you can let them sit in water for about good 4 hours. However you usually do your dry beans, that's what you want to do with your raw nuts. And so, as you can see, this water is not very clean. So, I'm going to wash these off, and then I'm going to show you our next step. Okay, so as you can see in my Ninja blender, when you're doing your almond milk, you want to make sure that you have a very powerful blender. Because that's the only way that you're going to get the fullness out of your nuts, and it's blending and having it to turn into the milk. So, I have here... this is 6 cups of distilled water. Now, you can use purified water or distilled water. Those are the best waters I would say use when you're making your milk. And this is 2.5 cups of my raw almonds that were soaked. And I have washed them, as you can see. And what you want to do is, when you have 2.5 cups of your nuts, then you want to double the amount of water. So I would do 5. This is 2.5 cups, so I would do like 5. I went ahead and added an extra cup just because I wanted it to be a little looser. It depends on how concentrated you want your milk to be. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this inside. And it's going to bring me up to almost, make sure that's in, almost to my 9-cup limit. And I just made it to my max, they say the liquid's supposed to be. So I'm going to put this on. And this is going to blend. Make sure I put this on properly. This is going to blend for about a good 2 to 3 minutes. Because like I said, you want to make sure that you blend this up as fully as possible. So I'm turning this on. I'm going on blend. And that's how it's going to look. We'll be right back. It has been 2 minutes. And look what we've already created. our almond milk. Now it is time to take this off and strain it. Okay, as you see here, I have a bowl. I actually have two bowls because I'm going to be going back and forth. And the whole idea is to try to strain this as much as possible. Our milk here. And I'm using a strainer. And I'm going to also use coffee filter to try to catch. And I might have to go and just switch. Kind of wanted you guys to see, but I'll come back to that one in a little bit, because this is going to be a lot. So you want to take your coffee strainer, your coffee filter and your strainer, put them together, and you want to catch as much as that skin of the almonds to be caught inside of here. Just going to hold it. Now this may take about 2 or 3 minutes to really have it go through, to clear it and make it, as drinkable as possible. But you want to take your time with this step in the straining process, because you want to do this at least 2 or 3 times in order to get a really smooth liquid where it's drinkable for you. So this is pretty full. I'm going to bring the camera closer and switch it so you can see. Hold on 1 second. Okay. And this is how it's looking as it's going through the strainer. Going really slow, but that means that all of the pulp and everything is going to come out. Now, of course, this pulp will be usable also. You can dry that pulp out in your oven, or if you have a dehydrator, because you can use that pulp into flour and using it and for baking, making whole grain breads or muffins or anything. But that's another video. So I'm going to let this strain out, and then I'll show you the step 2. Well, this is step 2, the step 3 process. So after the milk has separated from the pulp, this is what you have. This is all the almond meat or the skin and stuff. And like I said, this can be dried and used as a flour. And this is going to be placed inside another bowl, because I will place it inside my oven and spread it out and let this dry as much as possible. Excuse my hand. But I'm going to go ahead, and this is what, let me lift this up. This is what the milk looks like after it's separated. So I have another small batch right here, and that is what I'm going to do. Now this took about 5 minutes to strain all the way, and I was using my spoon to kind of help it guide through the filter and the mesh here. So, but yeah, it took about 5 minutes. So if you're patient, you can have really good milk. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what is left. This is the final product of the almond milk. Now, this is after the first strain. This is all the pulp. And then I ran it through one more time, and that was what was left at the bottom of the bowl of the second strain. So not much pulp was left that time, and I was able to get it through. So this is the final product of the almond milk. Now this is the step where I will place it back into my blender here, and this is where you would go ahead and try to flavor it with your vanilla and sweeten it with agave nectar, which is what I'm going to do. But if you want, you can leave this plain and use it for whatever baking you want to do. And this is what the almond milk looks like. So right now I'm going to go ahead and put it into my blender one more time to mix up my sweetening ingredients. Okay, so as you can see, our milk is here, and it ended up coming, after straining everything, it came to 5 cups of milk with all the straining and removing the pulp and everything. So we can produce 5 cups of milk out of that, 2.5 cups of nuts and 6 cups of water. I'm going to get my measuring spoon here As soon as I open up my vanilla, okay, so to the 5 cups of milk here, I'm just going to add about a half a teaspoon of vanilla. That's going to give it its flavor. And for a little sweetness, I'm using agave nectar. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of agave nectar just to sweeten it. Now, like I said, you don't have to add or do this step. This is optional, but my kids like sweet almond milk, and so do I. So now, I'm just going to blend this up for 1 minute to make sure it's well incorporated. Well, as you can see, we have our almond milk. And I let it blend. A little foamy because of me mixing it up. Not going to get too much. But this is your almond milk. And it's not too bad and it's not too hard. Real simple and easy. Just take a little bit of a time with the straining process. And this is all of the pulp that came from the nuts. And like I said, this is going to be spreaded out onto a cookie sheet because I'm going to let this dry in my oven on a low temperature of the lowest temperature possible, 170, for probably about 3 or 4 hours. And then this will be ready to be used for baking, whether you're going to make, you know, like I said, whole grain muffins or breads or whatever. But this is perfect. Perfect, perfect. You do not want this to go to waste. If you don't see yourself using this right away, then you want to put this in a nice good freezer bag, and you can freeze it and use it for another time. Now to taste it. Lift up my camera here. Oh yeah, this is perfect. Perfect almond milk. Perfect if you have any type of dairy allergy. You can make it yourself. And there's no pulp. It's nice and rich. Just as good as if you was to get it from the store. So if you like this recipe, please click like, share, and subscribe. And put this on your to-do list. Make you some almond milk. Especially if you're trying to watch your calories. You know, it doesn't have as many calories and not all the sugars that regular milk has. If you have dairy allergies, my boys, with them having asthma, this is perfect go-to, because I don't like to give them the cow milk too much because of all the mucus it builds up into their system. So almond milk, same effect, same great taste, is perfect. So like I said, if you like this video, you know what to do. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.